One event remaining on Ladies' Day and what has been a spectacular afternoon, and that is the women's 1500 meter presented by Adidas. And Daniela Yordanova, the fastest time in the world this year from Bulgaria, 4:01.68. And here is Marla Runyan.
And there is Marla Runyan right behind that gentleman in that Adidas shirt, unfortunately. You got to take a look at her right there. I talked to Marla this afternoon, and she said she's really working on this for speed work because she is going to be competing in the 5,000 meters at the national championships.
And back home, Regina Jacobs.
Regina Jacobs making the team in the 1500 and 5,000, setting an American record in the 5, but got a bronchial infection during the summer, was unable to run in Sydney. Was running an 800 meters last week in Oregon and stepped off the track, having a little Achilles problem. Ran great indoors and is preparing to run well in 2 weeks. She's a veteran. Expect her to be ready.
The competitors in the women's 1500 meter race: Jacobs, Runyan, Culpepper, Pells, Butler, Rudolph, Delahunty, Sally Glynn, Lauren Fleshman down at the bottom of the list. Final race of the competition.
And Marla Runyan hopes that this will be an honest race. She said she's really looking forward to getting into a good race that's going to move out. And she said if nobody takes it, she will.
Lauren Fleshman of Stanford, who won the 5,000 at the NCAA championships of Eugene last week, leading the pack. She will take them through the first at least 800 meters. Also Sally Glynn of Stanford, who scored in both the 1500 and the 5,000 in Eugene for Stanford last week in this field.
Lyudmila Vasilyeva, who finished second in the Prix from Russia, currently running second. Regina Jacobs, you see her on the left of your screen, running comfortably for the moment.
Well, I'll tell you, before this competition, there was some question whether or not Regina Jacobs would be running here. And I'm sure when she stepped out on the track, that really threw a wrench in the works of some of the other female athletes. They said, oh no, I've got to change my tactics with Regina in the race.
Hyman of Jamaica running third. The pace continues to be set by Lauren Fleshman of Stanford.
64-second first lap for Fleshman, but they are not following her too closely. Jacobs, as I mentioned, is having an Achilles problem, and that makes a problem for speed work. She's clearly strong. Carol and I both noticed that she looks very strong and fit in that way, but she hasn't been able to do the speed work. When she does the speed work, she has a problem with the Achilles tendon. When she gets to be 37, almost 38 years of age, recovering from those kinds of injuries takes more time and more patience.
Fleshman in the lead. Vasilyeva of Russia still runs second. Hyman of Jamaica third, and Schwald is fourth.
Pack is now starting to catch up with Fleshman, and you know that all the athletes in that field are the ones that we're going to look at. Shayne Culpepper on the outside of your screen, moving up.
Culpepper currently running fifth. Marla Runyan back in the pack. 2 to go.
And Shayne Culpepper is on a mission here. She's got to get an A standard qualifier for the World Championship. She's run 4:07.99 this year. She's got to run 4:07 flat or better. These are perfect conditions for her to do exactly that. Take the pressure off her having to do it at the Nationals, which is traditionally a tactical race. Not likely to get a time there.
And now they're bunched up.
And that indicates to me that the pace has slowed down. After a 64 opener, Fleshman threw in about a 68-second lap, so they have slowed the pace down, which is something that the sprinters in the field are not going to want. Runyan is perfectly happy to follow this pace because she's getting ready for a 5,000 meters 2 weeks from now. But Regina Jacobs and Shayne Culpepper likely want a little bit faster pace.
Take a look at Jacobs going to the lead and Marla Runyan right on her shoulders. We talked about tactics. You don't know what Regina Jacobs has had because, as we mentioned, she dropped out of a race last week.
Regina Jacobs on the outside now moves into the lead, passes Vasilyeva. Well, not quite. Vasilyeva says not yet. Now Jacobs has the edge. 1 lap to go. Runyan runs fifth.
And I'm not surprised to see Regina make that move because of the lack of speed. She's going to want to use her background strength, her over-distance strength to try and make a gap between herself and the rest of this pack. If it comes down to a pure sprint, she's got to be a little apprehensive about that Achilles tendon.
Here's Jacobs. Vasilyeva second, Hyman third.
And the interesting thing is last year at this competition right here, this is the same spot where Regina put the pedal to the metal, and she is able to do that right here. year. The Achilles must be feeling pretty darn good.
Marla Runyan now running third, moving up on Vasilyeva.
And Shayne Culpepper has not put herself in a position to get dragged at this time. She's well back in sixth, and unless this is an incredibly fast time, she's not going to get that qualifier. She'll have to wait. But Jacobs looks much better than she did last week up in Oregon.
37 years of age, a graduate of Stanford in 1985. Here comes Regina Jacobs. Marla Runyan second. It's Regina Jacobs finishing first. Runyan second. Hyman is third.
Well, Regina has to be happy with that performance. When you're going into the national championships, and of course, after such an upsetting year last year, she's got to be thinking, am I going to be able to get myself together, especially that Achilles tendon going into the national championships. And of course, I'm sure she is focusing on the World Championships in Edmond in August.
Well, clearly what happened last week is that she felt a little something and just decided to back off. Here's where she takes the lead with just a little less than a lap to go. And I felt she was going to probably push the pacer. She was in the shape of her life last summer and had won 2 silver medals in the World Championships. Felt she could win the gold medal in Sydney, but a bronchial infection took her out of the meet altogether, did not run. But she starts to just grind away with about 350 meters to go, and no one ever heads her.
The second fastest time in the world this year, Regina Jacobs has to be feeling good about her running.
And Marla Runyan looking very good there. She ran around 4:06 or 7, which is extremely good speed work for the 5,000 that she'll run up in Eugene.
Final results in the women's metric mile. Jacobs with a first place finish. Marla Runyan takes second, and Mardrea Hyman of Jamaica third. Let's go down to Armin Kataya.
Regina taking a few bows here. Regina, you stepped off the track last week in Eugene. There was some concern about your Achilles.
Yeah.
How does it feel? Look pretty good.
Well, it's still sore. I mean, it goes back and forth. Some days it's sore than others. And I just felt it pulling, and I thought, it's not worth it. I want to have a great season.
Are you on track now for the Nationals?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just managing my Achilles. It's really sore. But I just plan to race tough like I did today. And that's just sport. You have injuries.
Great job. Thank you.
you.
All right, Vern, back to you.
Well, she certainly has recovered nicely in a week. She stepped off the track with about 200 yards to go. Obviously, she just didn't want to push it. And again, at 37 years of age, she's got to be careful, but she looks a lot better than she did a week ago.
Well, you know, an Achilles injury is a very funny thing, and it depends on the day, how it feels that day, if you can go or not.